Hello, all you beautiful beings. As longtime viewers of mine may know, I've talked in the past about my history of being bullied as a child, but today I wanted to talk about a specific element of that, one I've been reflecting on in light of this recent right-wing gaslighting campaign. I want to tell a story. Actually, I want to tell two stories. One that occurred when I was in 3rd grade, and another that occurred when I was in 7th grade. The last time I talked about bullying, I brought up the fact that 3rd grade was a bit of a nightmare for me. By virtue of being friends with a girl in our class who was a frequent target of bullying, I too faced bullying. Other kids called me fat, ugly, stupid, too sensitive, because apparently it's my fault for getting upset when I was constantly egged on and knew I'd get in trouble for fighting back. At the time, I wasn't quite convinced that all adults were useless, so when I was put in a seating chart that included two of my frequent tormentors, they of course called me fat and mocked me repeatedly, to which I told the teacher. And what did the teacher tell me? Just ignore them. My two tormentors took this to mean our teacher didn't care about them bullying me. They were right. So they kept it up until I burst into tears. Folks, I lied. I actually have 2.5 stories. So, my half story takes place later that year. All the 3rd graders were being collectively punished for being loud and rowdy at lunch and on the way to recess. Yeah, collective punishment and punishing kids for not being quiet little robots are both bullshit, but that's a video for another day. Anyway, we were all supposed to sit on the blacktop on the kindergarten playground for 10 minutes and stay quiet. Two kids, one of them was a girl who bothered me and insulted me all the time, kept harassing me though. By that point, I was sick of it, so I did the only thing I could do. I blew a raspberry at them. Yeah, you know, I'll show you a visual of that through my Bitmoji. Yeah, I didn't want to get in trouble for trying to beat them up, nor did I want them to hit me back. The girl who regularly abused me tried to spin it, saying she'd tell the teacher that I spit on her. Oh, and both of us got sent to the office. I really wish the story ended there. This girl went on to tell her dad and her older brother and sister, who also went to our school, that I spit at her, trying to paint me as the bad guy. She and her brother even tried to corner me when I was boarding the bus, trying to beat me up. Luckily, I got on it just in time. Another day, her dad came to pick her up, and she got him to call me out. I was afraid of missing my bus, and this grown man lectured me as if I, not his little demon spawn, was the bully. I'm sure you can see where this comparison is going, but I've got one more story. This story takes place 4 years later, when I was in middle school, or as I prefer to think of it, the 7th circle of hell. Kids still tease me over really petty shit. Some boy called me Miss Piggy every day. Some girl mocked me for a solid month because I fell out of a chair in English class. And then there was some random boy pretended to have a crush on me. It didn't happen how you might think it did. He never asked me out as a joke or anything. He would creepily stroke my shoulders and make really creepy faces at me, sing songs he made up about how hot I was and that he wanted to see my belly button. Yeah, most 13-year-olds don't know the concept of bare midriff. And saying he was going to hunt down my then celebrity crush, Lance Bass of NSYNC. Before he came out. This happened in 2000. Needless to say, I was annoyed, and at times very uncomfortable. I barely knew this guy, and he came on way too strong. Because at this point, I was tired of not being able to go to school without being mistreated. So I went to the counselor and told her what was going on. Don't get me wrong, it was the right thing to do, but it led to more of a backlash. Other kids called me a snitch, said I couldn't take a joke, ad nauseum, ad nauseum. Like it was my fault I got tired of being abused and annoyed when all I wanted to do was get through the day in the seventh circle of hell and then go home. I like to think my former bullies and harassers eventually grew up and became decent people, and I know for a fact that some of them have. But what happens to people who never grow out of that?
Gay Vox wants to do. Mr. Let's Be Queer from Vox. What were you holding, Gay Latino from Vox? Mexican gay guy used to work. Mexican gay Latino.
As I keep seeing and hearing on social media, Carlos Maza was supposed to just put up with a years-long campaign of targeted homophobic and borderline racist abuse from Stephen Chowderhead and his army of fan brats. But Crowder? He doesn't have to put up with his bad behavior being criticized or punished. Not only that, but he feels empowered to paint himself as the victim and a champion for free speech, thus painting Maza as its enemy. You see the point of the stories I told at the start? In case Crowder and any of his sycophants are watching this, let me break it down because I know you're a little slow. Bullies love to play the victim, and they and perpetual fence-sitting cowards love painting those who get tired of their shit and want something done about it as the real people at fault. It's a pattern I've seen since literally childhood, and I'm frankly sick of it. When you get punished for the bad things you've done, you are not the victim. You are not a champion of free speech, you're just a douchebag. And you can cry because your videos are still up and you can't make money off them. But I'm not going anywhere. And I hope... I know this is a hostile environment for my fellow people of color, LGBT folks, and so on, but I hope you'll all stand with me. Thank you very much, and as always, peace, love, and stay hydrated.